On today's Locked On Utes, Spencer Fano stops by to discuss Utah's upcoming season and how he is preparing for it with so much preseason hype already headed his way. My interview with Spencer Fano coming up on today's Locked On Utes.
You are Locked On Utes, your daily podcast on the Utah Utes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for making Locked On Utes your first listen and view of the day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, available wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. If it's your first time tuning into this show, make sure you like and subscribe. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins at FanDuel. My name is JT Wistersill, and on today's show, Spencer Fano joins Locked On Utes to talk about Utah's upcoming season. Then we'll react to his comments and also talk about the fact that we are 45 days away from the start of the 2025 Utah football season. And one of the players I am most excited to watch is Spencer Fano. So please enjoy my interview with the best right tackle, heck, let's just say the best tackle in college football. Spencer Fano joins me now on Locked On Utes.
The best offensive lineman in college football. I can say that. You don't have to. Spencer Fano joining me here, Utah's right tackle, formerly left tackle back then. But I'm just going to ask you this to start off. What's your favorite block you've had while you've been at Utah?
I would choose – there's been really a lot of fun ones, but there was one in particular against ASU last year. I know we lost the game, but we had a touchdown that game, and I pancaked my guy into the end zone, and I'm right in front of Micah Bernard. Or Mekhi Bernard, and then I remember just getting up and seeing him right next to me, and knowing it was a touchdown, and then that was just the best feeling in the world, just knowing that I just finished my guy and the running backs in the end zone. So that was my favorite block for sure. It's
great to get your teammates in the end zone. Also great to get there yourself. You scored a touchdown. Yeah. That's every lineman's dream. What was that like?
That was so much fun. I remember when they called the play. Because we had practiced that a few times. So when they called the play, I remember I was just I was shizzing my pants, bro. It was bad. No, I was I couldn't think. So I remember I got in my stance, I went back and I saw the ball in midair and it was in slow motion. I was like, you better catch this. And I caught it, got in the end zone, and it was just so much fun. Obviously, it's something that I've always wanted to do, and really happy I was able to get that done last year.
What do you credit most from your year one left tackle growth, then right tackle, not just the position change, but just you as a player? You had massive growth year one to year two, hard to play as a true freshman on the offensive line, but how do you think your game has grown the most?
Honestly, I feel like I'm getting bigger and stronger. I'm really blessed with our weight staff at the University of Utah that have been able to help me improve my physical attributes. But only that, I am also blessed to have the best O-line coach in the country, who's just I feel like I attribute a lot of my growth to Coach Harding, just because it doesn't matter how good of a game that I've had or how well I performed at any practice or game. He always finds something to critique with me, and I love that. I always have something to work on, and there's always something to get better at.
He's a fantastic coach. You're a fantastic player. You've earned a ton of preseason accolades from NFL Draft. PFF's fifth-ranked college football player in general. Do you watch? Oh no, you're good, man. Do you monitor that stuff? Do you block it out? How do you manage all that?
I see that stuff, but in my mind, if it says preseason on it, it's not real to me. It's not real to me. I mean, it's a blessing, and I'm absolutely stoked and grateful to have it. And wouldn't want to be in any other position, but I feel like it's not real yet, and I want to make that stuff real. So it's really cool to have them.
What makes your offensive line special, and is it the best in the country in your opinion?
Our O-line, we bring back all starters from last year, and I feel not only do we have a lot of experience, but everyone on the line is just we're some dogs. We're some dogs, bro. Some dogs, and everybody I feel like as a unit, we're so close off the field as well. That's we have a really great chemistry on our line, and I would say I would take our group over anybody else. So, yeah, I'm taking us over everybody.
That's a great way to answer the question. I'll say this too. I'll be honest. I look at Caleb; he's phenomenal. You're phenomenal. at times I watched last year and I'm like, okay, I do have some questions about some of your teammates on the interior. I want to see more from that group. Why do you feel like they're ready, and what should we expect from them this year?
Honestly, last year, I feel like they were definitely because our offense was struggling so much. I feel like it was really easy to kind of pin blame on people. Where I feel like if you watch them as a whole, they really didn't play. Like our guards are actually like really good players. Our interior, our center, really really good players that were just kind of emphasized on a bad season. I would say don't count them out. And like, not only did I think they were good last year, but they're definitely better this year. Just I feel like that experience alone from last year would make us better, and they have all those experiences to grow on and to build on. And I don't know. I mean, that's the type of stuff I would say. Just don't count out our interior. Yeah, those are some dogs.
I'm not counting anyone on your offense too much because I think Jason Beck's phenomenal. What has it been like working with him? What are your thoughts on both Jason Beck and Devin Dampier?
Oh, they're awesome. They're awesome. Coach Beck has brought like so much more juice and energy to our team, or just our offense especially. Last year, our offense was always it was really militaristic. You know what I'm saying? But it's completely changed where we're out there having fun, and that's the biggest change that Coach Beck has brought. And then Dev just brings a lot of energy. You know, he brings a lot of energy and makes us a really dangerous offense. Yeah.
Run blocking or pass blocking?
Run blocking. Pass blocking it's awesome, and it's fun. I feel like pass blocking is where you make your money, but run blocking is just like that's where you get to really punish somebody. In my opinion, it's just. I was telling somebody else, like, the best feeling in the world is just like when you're drive blocking somebody, you have your hands inside, you're driving them like 10, 15 yards, and then they're just filling their arms trying to swing at your hands. And it's just like, no, there's no better feeling in the world. So I'm taking run blocking.
What's the most underrated aspect of your game personally?
My singing ability. I'm quite the singer.
I meant your football game, but you were going singing.
Sorry.
But now you got to tell us about your singing too, and then you can tell me the football aspect.
I mean, want me to sing right now? You can. Wait, I need to think of a song. What song?
What song? What's your favorite song?
Shoot, I don't know.
Want to do fight song?
I'm like on the spot. But you can't really sing the fight song. It's more of a chant. You know what I'm saying?
Country Road.
Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads.
If we had Utah's Got Talent, I think you would win. I'll give you that. Yeah,
I do.
I do. I'll get you out of here on this. What are your personal goals and team goals for the coming season?
I feel like I'm just thinking about team goals for now. Yeah, I think that I want to help bring my team to a Big 12 championship and enter a college football playoff. I think all my personal goals and all personal accolades will take care of themselves if we make it there. So I'm just worried about bringing our team to a championship. Everything else will take care of itself.
I lied. One more because you didn't answer it. Most underrated aspect of your football game as a blocker, pass protector, all of that. I don't know. I don't think I'm in a blessed position where I don't feel like I'm very underrated right now. So I don't think I have one. Singing ability, only one underrated, right?
Singing ability.
That's it. That's number one.
Yes.
Spencer, this is Blast Man. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Today's episode of Locked On Utes is brought to you by our great friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling with FanDuel? You can even get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. Whether I'm placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet right into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm part of the action. New to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. College football is right around the corner. NFL is too. And while we wait, we still have MLB action underway. So make sure you head over to FanDuel Sportsbook today. Really appreciate Spencer Fano and the Utah Athletic Communication staff as well for making him available this past week to me at Big 12 Media Day. I love talking to Spencer Fano. He's a guy that I still remember covering going into, his junior year. We were kind of where he was. And then obviously senior year, had a tremendous year too. I still remember him in the state championship game on Timpview. They were playing Lehigh, and he was obviously an amazing offensive lineman, but they needed him on defense too. So he's going both ways. He hadn't gone both ways like all season and was crushing it as a defensive end too. He is just, Spencer Fano's a football player. And that's why I know some people in the NFL are like, oh, he might be a guard more than a tackle. Like, who cares? At the end of the day, Spencer Fano is going to be a baller at the next level, and I'm excited that we get at least one more, or I shouldn't say at least, we're only going to get one more. I'm excited that we get one more season with Spencer Fano on the Utah offensive line. So after that interview, just want to talk about a couple of things that stood out to me that Spencer said. One thing I love that he said, a guy who's getting as much love as Spencer Fano, it would be pretty easy if any of us were in this situation, right, to just read into those and kind of start to buy into those and think like, hey, like I am this player, like I am really good. And obviously Spencer does believe that, knows he's good, but like to kind of get an inflated opinion of yourself, it'd be easy to do that with all the preseason accolades and love that Spencer Fano has been getting. He is a first round draft pick by pretty much every NFL mock draft. He's PFF's 5th ranked college football player. He's pretty much a consensus top offensive lineman entering the season, and a lot of, I shouldn't say the number one offensive lineman everywhere, but he's right up there towards the top for just about every list you'll see out there. But Spencer Fano said something I found very interesting and also 100% factual when you are trying to stay focused and stay locked in on your job at hand for this coming season and trying to prove all of those accolades and everything right. He said preseason accolades aren't real to him. And and that's a great mindset to have, because they're not. They're just projections of things that people believe you're going to do, but you actually have to go out there and do them. And that's a lot harder than it would seem. Let's not forget how difficult it is to earn how high of a PFF grade Spencer Fano did, right? It's not that easy to go out there and hold your own against top pass rushers, to make waves in the run game. That's what Spencer Fano is able to do. So I love that line. Preseason accolades aren't real, because Spencer Fano isn't paying attention to all of the, and I'm sure he hears about it, but he's not reading too much into the hype. He is sticking to the process that got him to the place he is today, where he is considered by many to be one of the best offensive line prospects in the 2026 NFL draft. So I love that basically how he's reacting to all the preseason accolades they're not real. Like, he's not putting that much stock into them too. I loved his answer to my question about the offensive line too. Look, that's something I wanted to be honest with Spencer, because I'm honest with you guys when I come on this show, and I give my honest takes on this Utah football team when I say I do have questions about the interior offensive line based on their performance last year. So I wanted to be honest with Spencer too, and ask someone who obviously knows a lot more about the position, and especially about those guys than I do. Like, hey, I have some concerns. Like, how should I feel about them? And I thought it was kind of interesting how he kind of tiptoed around in a very Utah football way some of the issues that Utah's offense had last year. And he said, hey, there were a lot of things going on with the offense last year, and I think those guys played well. And, he said it's like easy to assign blame. Like, yes, it is, Spencer. But that's at the end of the day. When things don't go well, like, people have to be blamed. And I think he would understand that too, right? But like that's just the reality of the situation. When things go wrong, people are at fault. And with a show like this, we have to talk about who's at fault. And I did think at times last season when you go, okay, why did this play fail for Utah when we break it down on individual plays? Because I said the offensive failures as a whole, if I was to ranking the blame game, I'd probably go quarterback one, play calling, wide receivers at time, but offensive line would be up there too. And that was something on a play-to-play basis. You could look at certain plays and go, why did this play not work? And be like, oh, the interior offensive lineman wasn't able to execute on his block. Like, that was the assessment I came to. So I did want to be honest with Spencer and just say, like, hey, I have some questions about the interior offensive line. Like, why should I have not had those questions? Once again, remind everyone who's listening to this and maybe thinking like JT, you should have no questions about the offensive line if you're Utah, because they have all 5 starters back. You know who also had all 5 starters back last year? Oklahoma State. Ollie Gordon was there too. Seemed foolproof, right? Things were going to go great for the Cowboys. They didn't at all. So do I feel better about Utah's offensive line this year? I do Oklahoma State's line last year. Yes. but there are some players last year who on Utah's line, they do have to get better. And Spencer Fano said they've gotten better. And I believe him. And I do trust Jim Harding. Totally agree with what Spencer Fano said, that Jim Harding is, I'll say he's right up there for the best offensive line coaches in the country. For my money, he is. I don't know every single offensive line coach out there, but I know Utah's lucky to have a pretty dang great one for my money there too. But I loved his quote. He said, like, easy to pin blame on the guys, but they're really good players. And, they got some blame for just a bad season, which is absolutely right. He said they'll be good last year, but even better this year. And I love that. I also thought it was interesting when he was talking about last year's offense ran like a military, but now Jason Beck has brought more of that fun, the juice, the energy. And Spencer Fano even said, now we're just having fun. That to me is awesome. Football is football. It's always going to be fun and enjoyable. But when you do treat it, like I said, it's just interesting that he said it was kind of like a military. It's obviously just very strict, not a lot of laughing and joking. And obviously that's not all Andy Ludwig too, right? I'm sure he did try to make it fun and things of that nature, but he is a more just traditional coach. And I do feel like what this offense needed, especially, is a good balance to the stern and just, stern's a good word, presence that Kyle Whittingham provides, right? The grit, as Keanu Tanavasa said on yesterday's show a lot, right? Kyle Whittingham is grit. I think Jason Beck provides a good opposite to that. Someone who's fun, who's energetic, who just makes it more who you really enjoy working with and interacting. Not saying those guys didn't enjoy Utah's offense last year and working with everyone there. And Spencer Fano never said that. But once again, the quote was, our offense is more like a military last year. Would you rather be a part of something like a military, or, when this is not Spencer Fano quote, this is me, or would you rather be a part of something that is more fun, like brings the juice, brings the energy? That's what he's clearly done. The fun wrinkles and tricks that he's added, and clearly the energy he's brought has been great for an offense that was honestly at times abysmal last season, and an offensive room as well that really needed an injection of energy, I'd say, and life into it, and a mood and a vibe swing. And as the kids love to say, vibes seem to be high in that Utah offensive line room, in the Utah offense right now, the offensive line room too, but then the Utah offense, vibes are high. Vibes are in a good place. I really like the place that Utah football is in right now. I think they are in a good place, and I think a large part of that sounds like the energy that Jason Beck, and I'll add Devin Dampier in, right? Because he said Devin Dampier brings the energy too and just makes us a dangerous offense. And I 1000% agree with that. He absolutely does. Dampier, the element that he has, the rushing ability, along with a pretty solid arm too, I might add, I do think puts this offense to the next level. Year 2 of the Jason Beck, Devin Dampier marriage as well, for those two working together as offensive coordinator and quarterback, I think will pay big dividends for this Utah team too. Really excited to see those two continue to put the pieces together and just continue to have what I think will be a really strong season for this Utah team. Spencer Fano also asked him, like, what is he like best, pass blocking or run blocking? He said pass blocking is where you make your money, but run blocking is where you can really punish someone. That's absolutely true. In the NFL, right? Like when he talks about it's where you can make your money. In the NFL, if you are a better run blocker than pass blocker, usually the pass blocking is going to get rewarded because of just the heavy presence offensive face on, hey, 3rd and long. And what's the most important position in football? Quarterback. So then what becomes one of the most important things? It's to protect them. In my opinion, the 3 most important positions in football are quarterback, wide receiver, and then defensive end. And it's all geared around the quarterback, right? Because you need to get after the quarterback at a high level, and you need to protect that quarterback at a high level. So he's right. I think pass rushing is what gets you paid at the next. Pass protection is what gets you paid at the next level, is keeping the top investment, most important player on the field upright so he has time to make the accurate throw, get through his reads, get through his progression. So that's where you get your money. But also, I did like what he said too, where he's like, run blocking is where you can really punish someone, because that every offensive, if you're a good offensive lineman, more times than not, from what I've encountered in my experience, you like run blocking more than pass blocking. That's why I knew one of the reasons I knew I had the ceiling on my personal football career was I always liked pass blocking better than run blocking, but I was never as strong as Spencer Fano. So what he's talking about is the best feeling in the world is when you have a defensive line just helpless and you're driving him and like 10, 15 yards down the field. Like I've gotten glimpses of that before, never at the level Spencer Fano did though, but you could just see it in his eyes too, like how much he loves it and lives for that moment. And man, is he a guy who obviously when he capitalizes on it too. Just like he capitalized on the moment to belt out some vocals for us. How about Spencer Fano with the Country Road breakout impromptu? Appreciate him sharing his vocals there. Just that was funny. So I appreciate Spencer just being himself. He's authentic. He was singing in last week's Utah video too. So glad that Spencer could get some of his vocals out there. I thought that was something that was fun. And I appreciate just him being loose and himself and free during that interview as well too. But yeah, I loved his answer just about, hey, best feeling in the world is when you got defensive lineman and you're just driving him around too. Here, also cool just to hear him talk about like what it was like scoring a touchdown. Just mentioned I'm a former offensive lineman, but for any of you out there who listen to this, right, or played offensive line or even just no offensive lineman, right? Like they always joke about catching a ball or wanting to score a touchdown or something. Like I remember joking with my buddies back in the day about how great that would be. And you could hear in Spencer's voice, like how cool that was for him to be able to do that too. So I liked his answer too on the O-line, like when he talked about I should just say, like I liked his answer on the offensive line. And Spencer's going to hype up his teammates, but based on what he said, especially the fact that he said those guys have gotten better, I do feel a little better about the offensive line. And once again, I think that's going to be a good unit, but I just do have some questions when it's just like, hey, I watched all your games last year. You guys looked this way at times. Now you're telling me, like Kyle's like, this could be the best offensive line I've ever had at Utah. Like that's a lot. When I hear that, I think Bama Laseni, Keaton Bills, Nick Ford, Satawa at right guard, and then who was the right tackle? Oh, Brain Daniels. Like that to me was the best offensive line. And there's the Garrett Bowles one is another one too, right? But just like recent memory, that one jumps in my head. Like to me, it'll take a lot to still pass that line. You got to think about it. Nick Ford, Braden Daniels, like everyone on that offensive line at least made the NFL, even Bills and Ford. I don't know if they ever played, but they got on rosters too, right? So that was still a monster accomplishment there. And yeah, and Elisani made the NFL too. So all five of those guys made the NFL. That's what this year's offensive line has to do in order to eclipse that group and be that. So that's why I'm not there yet saying they will be that, but I do think they have a chance to be really good. I think they could be really good. I think they will be really good too. It's just not a proven thing to me because based on what I saw last year, it's just like Spencer Fano going into last year. I did have some questions. Spencer Fano proved me wrong that he made massive strides and improvements over the season. But I also thought Spencer Fano was going to be good. I didn't think he'd be that good, but I thought he'd be good. And I think this Utah offensive line is going to be good too. Speaking of something that's going to be good, week 1, not week 0, week 1 of the college football season is incredible. As ESPN's Matt Miller or at the NFL Draft Scout notes, this is his post on X. Cancel my plans August 30th. 12 p.m. Texas, Ohio State. Alabama versus Florida State at 3:30. LSU Clemson at 7:30. Those are all the national games, right? Those draw the biggest headline. But what's at 11 p.m.? Utah, UCLA. I love that a national college football, I should say more NFL, but just someone who watches college football and is well known in that space is very excited, right? Like that gets them excited. And they didn't just leave out. They didn't just do the 4 games, the first 3 games. He threw that in there too. Also, it is Lee Corso's it is like his final game day with a pick. And I think that Utah's going to get picked. I think so. We'll see if it happens. I think that's a big enough game week 1 where Utah UCLA should get picked on game day there. So excited to see Coach Corso hopefully pick Utah for one final time. But this is just awesome for Utah. And once again, we are 45 days away from Utah football being back and in a venue we all love, like the Rose Bowl. Yes, Utah hasn't won there yet, but awesome memories still going to games there, even if Utah didn't end up on top. So I love that Utah's already getting mentioned as one of the marquee games week 1. I honestly think when you look at the games on this slate, I say Utah versus, and I'm trying to be fair too, obviously Texas Ohio State might be the best game we get in the college football season. Like that might be the national championship matchup, and obviously a semifinal matchup from a year ago. LSU, Clemson are both playoff contenders. I don't view UCLA as a playoff contender. Utah's only a playoff contender if they win the Big 12, right? So unless they shock everyone and go 11-2 and one of those losses in the Big 12 title game, that's the only other way Utah would have a chance to get it, right? But I seriously do think Utah, UCLA is going to be better than Alabama, Florida State. I think Kalen DeBoer is doing a really good job at Bama, and I think Florida State's getting a little better, but they have too long of a way back for me, and I think they do get beat up solidly week 1. So I actually think it's the 3rd best game of week 1 that Utah and UCLA have. And once again, I just love the exposure that Utah is getting, being mentioned amongst as one of the marquee games. And even though I wanted that game for Utah and UCLA. As I said before on this show, I wanted that game at 3:30 following the Texas-Ohio State game because it's on Fox, and even though you're then competing with Alabama, Florida State, like I just said, number one, I think it's going to be a bad game, and number two, I just still think you'll get more eyeballs on you if you're the main game on Fox at 3:30 than the only good game on Fox, or the only good game on, I would say, but you're at 11 p.m. So I just think the maximized viewership, the best time for Utah would have been 3:30 p.m., and all of these are in Eastern Standard Time. But people will still tune in and stay up too, because also we're kind of building the hype now for Utah versus UCLA. What's the national storyline? Obviously, Nico's first game with the Bruins, but you have a Utah program trying to bounce back, and I think a lot of people will be tuning in to see how Nico looks with UCLA, and they'll come away impressed from that game with Utah. Speaking of getting the word out there just about this matchup that Utah has with UCLA, this tweet, like cancel my plans, August 30th, that Matt Miller had, it has 2.2 million views. It has 25,000 likes. It has been reposted 2.9 thousand times, 238 comments, and 1.3 bookmarks. That's once again just spreading out there, getting eyeballs on it, and the fact that Utah has such a marquee place in week 1 of the college football season gets me incredibly excited. And I do think this is one of the marquee games of week 1. I do wish it was at 3:30, like I said, but still, to be able to recap the first Saturday of college football, there are going to be people, the college football sickos, who watch every single game all day. That's what I look forward to doing. And obviously, I'll have a keen eye, especially in the Utah game, and we'll be going live after the Utah game, reacting to everything that happened too. So I cannot wait. I'm incredibly excited. I think it's going to be absolutely tremendous. Absolute cinema is a word that's thrown around online, right? Utah versus UCLA. I am here for it. I am ready for it. I just can't wait for college football. Once again, 45 days away from the start of Utah football season. Can't wait to get it underway. That's going to do it for this show today. Make sure you guys check out Locked On College Football or Locked On Big 12 if you're in the market for a second listen. Fun crossover, or not crossover, Big 12 squad show coming out tomorrow. Getting to some fun debates there. So look forward to that dropping tomorrow afternoon. Also, you can check out the portal. Brian Smith keeps you up to date on the latest movements. And eventually, speaking of just portal, I'm curious to see what ends up happening with Jake Retzloff. That's something we can talk about on the future show if it ends up having more of a bearing and an impact on Utah. Appreciate you guys listening to my interviews the last couple of days. Tanu Vasa was today or yesterday. We had Fano today. I still got Smith Snowden and Lander Barton interviews as well that I'm going to drop, and some really fun conversations with those guys. So thank you guys once again for listening to Locked On Utes. Can't wait to be back with you tomorrow talking our favorite thing in the world, Utah football. We'll see you then.